Mighty Mouse. And I'm talking to Rich from Warlord. Mr. Rich, aka Steve from Warlord Beard Oil. And we're here today to talk about everything he knows that's happened so far. So let's start at the beginning. How did you meet Bud?
I met Bud at a local hospital we worked at. I've been an ICU nurse for 13, 14 years. Recently went and started doing some cath lab nursing when I left the intensive care unit. That's how we became friends. I knew his wife, working with his wife from a previous hospital. I really didn't know him until I worked at Providence, and I kind of met him. He was a respiratory therapist there.
Okay. And how long have you known each other?
I guess I've probably known Bud for been a bit 2 years, so probably a year before that, maybe.
Okay.
3 years.
Okay. Do you guys ever go on vacations together or spend holidays together? Okay. How did the beard oil come about?
It came about, he had been growing his beard out before I did. I mean, I always had something, whether it was a mustache or a goatee or something, or just a black shadow. And every time I saw him, whether it's passing in the hallway or whatever, I think he was at a home health agency at that time, but attached to the Providence building. His beard just kept getting longer and just kept looked a hell of a lot better than mine. Because mine was like everywhere and all that. I was like, what do you do to make your beard look so good? Because it just looks good. And he told me about beard oil. I was like, well, that's never heard of that. That's interesting. And so he told me who he bought it online from, different people. And I ordered the same stuff. And then probably after a couple months, kind of got tired of paying for it. And I was like, this is, according to the ingredients that's listed on everybody's different beard oil, the basic essential and primary and secondary oils is all they are. You just got to find the right mixture, I would assume. Then that's what I did is I told him, I maybe can make this for us so we don't have to buy it anymore. And that's what I did, ordered a lot of stuff and played around with it. And he was basically, did it in my kitchen. She's probably still mad because I took up the dining room table for like a year. And I was like, you basically be my tester. But like if your hair falls off your face, then we know that's not a good point.
Okay.
And so that's how it kind of all got started.
So you were the mastermind?
Yeah, I originally started this in my home, yes.
And whose name is the company under right now?
The LLC is under Bud.
Okay. And why is that?
Because when we started, my main priority, my goal at the time was to make our own beard oil and maybe have a little, if we get a little secondary income, then so be it. But, when it kind of took off and family and friends started wanting it, people at the hospital started wanting it, we started making more and more, which led obviously to more production. We ended up meeting somebody who was our sales consultant, Blake, that I hope, I talked to him and he said he's more than willing to meet with you as well.
Are you talking about Blake Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to talk to him.
Okay, awesome. And, he got wind of it. I kind of brought it to a local barbershop, Ronnie's on Hillcrest, who's been a huge supporter. And we did a little consignment. I'd make whatever he wanted to put in his shop. And when he sold out, he'd let me know and I'd bring him more. And so when we did that, Blake, that's how Blake found out about it, because Blake supplies his store for wholesale, barbershop stuff. And he got wind of it, and then he came to me and Bud. By that time, we had an Instagram page and a Facebook page, and he's like, I think he Instagrammed Bud. I'm not a social media person whatsoever.
So you weren't following what Bud was doing on Instagram?
I was, because we had many arguments. I put some posts up in the beginning, but you can ask my wife. The only reason I even activated my Facebook account, it was deactivated for a long time because I hate it, is because I was like, well, I guess I should because we have a business now. And I guess that would help.
That's the main reason why I have one too.
Yeah, I can't stand social media, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, these days it's an evil necessity. So Blake contacted Bud by Instagram. Is like, do you realize how many barbers and stylists I'm in front of every month? Pretty much. And then it came to find out that their kids go to school together and they knew each other and that kind of stuff. And so when we did all that, that's when we started setting in motion about, okay, well, maybe we can make this on a larger scale production, wholesale to all these, like Blake's store, and get into, a contract or whatever it may be. And that's when he mentioned, one of the companies that we could possibly, if it went over well with them, that we could be in contract with them. And so when we did that, I was still working at the hospital. At some point, I don't know what time frame, Bud told me, he's like, listen, I quit the hospital, and I'm going to be doing this full time for us. Which I was like, well, you kind of might have talked to me about that first, but obviously. So when that happened, he spearheaded the whole wholesale thing, going down to Tampa, talking to some of the big people that own the company that was owned by L'Oreal, about doing a test market here in Mobile with Blake store and all that kind of stuff. And he put a lot into it. And I'm not going to take that away from him. And so when we did all that, and they were interested in the test went well, we talked to a lawyer, like, what do we do just, as far as legal purposes with the company, what should we do? And he said we should form an LLC, protect ourselves. And I was okay with that. And then that was when I was still at the hospital. I can't just stop what I do at the hospital to take off and go help form an LLC, even though it's, for both of us. And, that was when I was in the cath lab, so I was on call a lot. I can't just up and leave.
Yeah,
and so, yeah, and so, I trusted him. I was like, okay, get the LLC formed, and we'll go from there. And of course, this was all built on trust, but I had no reason not to trust him. And so he got the LLC and he got it put into his name, and I was okay with that. I was like, the only stipulation is we are going to have to get an operating agreement drawn up. You might be the owner of the LLC, but I am going to be part owner of this company since I started it. And then that led to an operating agreement, and we talked about it. I molded over for a week because he's like, the lawyer says 50-50s is like the worst deal ever for business partners. So he's like, somebody's got to be 51, somebody's got to be 49. And so, I sat for a week. I thought about it, what I put into it, how he spearheaded this whole thing with going wholesale and everything. And I told my wife, I was like, I think that's the fair thing to do. Because I can't just leave the hospital. And I was like, he's done this, and I think that gives him, I'm okay with him having that extra 2% because he's done that. And that's where we end up with the operating agreement that he's 51 and I'm 49.
So, were your beards the only thing that made you guys become friends, or was there other reasons that you guys started hanging out?
No, we never, besides before the beard oil started, we never hung out. Yeah, he was, if I was in the ICU, he might have been the respiratory therapist attached to the unit that day. So I would see him all throughout the day for 12 hours. He was attached to us. But we never hung out before we even started doing beard oil.
And at that point, when you guys were just working together at the hospital, did he ever talk about his service to the country?
He did. I knew he served. And I had heard through the grapevine that, he had served as Special Forces. That's not my place to ask him, to me. If he wants to tell me that, then, I'll listen. And, so I never came out and straight out asked him about it. So, but if I'm not mistaken, my wife was a nurse as well. I think he,
go around telling
people that.
We worked in the same ICU unit, and that's how I met Bud too. And he was very, I think it's one of those things, some men are like, oh, look what I did, I'm just gonna lure you in. That's sort of the way it is.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be jumping questions, but we're on that whole subject. I didn't even. The way I found out about it was I knew a lot about Special Forces, regardless, because when I was an RTC, our instructor was with, I want to say, 5th Group in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. 5th or 3rd. I can't. God, I'm 45 years old. I barely remember what happened yesterday. So I knew a lot about it because he kind of plugged that into us. That's what we all want to do when we were in ROTC and went into the Army. And so I knew all about the training and everything. And just one day something popped up after we kind of started the beard oil thing. I think I sent him a joke or a text or something regarding Special Forces. And it could have been related, and unfortunately it's one of the worst representations, but the whole First Blood John Rambo thing, just messing with him. And he's like, oh, what do you know about that? I was like, actually, I know quite a bit. I was like, because, that's what I want to do before I went in the Army, but I didn't do it. And then that's when he sent me a picture of a family in his office. He had the whole 20th flash with the green beret with the certificate and everything. And then that's when I was like, oh wow, I was like you're special forces. I heard you were, but you know I never was going to ask you about it. And he was like, yeah, I was special forces.
And you don't have that picture anymore?
No.
Long shot, but
No, were you special forces?
No.
Okay. Because I'm about to say, everything I say here is under the assumption that I thought he was special forces, and obviously I know he's not now.
I worked with him here and there, trained with him. Okay. Because I'm in Fort Bragg, and that's where the home of the special forces
Correct.
is. But I was never special forces.
Okay.
And I was just air defense sergeant. So.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't want you to think that, you know, me knowing what I know now with no disrespect to you or anything if you were special forces. So.
No, so how long were you in the military?
I went in after high school. I graduated in '89, and right out of high school, I went to basic at Fort Knox, and went in as a 45 kilo, which I don't even think exists anymore, which is a tank turret repair. And came back, enlisted in. I was in the reserve in a unit in Louisiana, Bogalusa, Louisiana. And then when I came back, enlisted in college, and then that's when Desert Storm started up. So got activated for that. We went over there for, I think we were over there 5-6 months. You know, nothing like it is now. You know, that was like basically that one. And then came back, stayed in that unit for a while. Then the drive just kept driving me crazy. So I tried to transfer over to a National Guard unit in Ocean Springs that we had where I'm from. And they allowed the transfer. And when I transferred there, I think, I forget what MOS they even assigned me. It might have been like supply specialist or I don't even know. Something like that. So I guess I just totally avoided your question. So I guess so from 89, probably 90 to about 90. I think I was in, I want to say it was 6 or 7 years. Actually, I think I got out a little early. So.
Do you guys ever support veteran organizations with donations from your products?
That was the goal with the Green Beret Foundation, because I remember he came and actually talked to me about that, and I remember he texted me, and whatever I text back out was under the assumption that, you know, because I remember I got mad about it because we were just starting off, we didn't have a lot of money, and I think I told him, I was like, you know, well, I think I said, yeah, that would be fine, but something to the effect that maybe not right this second. And I think he took that the wrong way. So I remember we got an argument because he put it out on Instagram saying from now on we would donate 10% of Pine Land, or one of our beard oils, to the Green Beret Foundation. And we had it out that night because I was like, we don't have that money to give right now. But that was the goal.
So it was going to be 10% that specific
cent, yes.
Okay. And did you ever actually donate that 10%?
We didn't. You know, once we signed this contract and got into doing wholesale, he did say, you know, we need to send them some money. We need to send them some money. And I was like, well, you know, we got to go back and pull all the records and see what we sold of that particular cent and that kind of stuff. And he had some numbers, and I got the other numbers. And this is not a lie. I still have it on my Mac. There's a spreadsheet on the desktop to what we owe the Green Beret Foundation. It's just when all that started being as busy as we got with wholesale orders, I never sat down to write the check, but I had to do all that as well.
Okay. So. Is that something that you would share with us? That you did actually do the math, but you never actually donated the money?
As far, you mean like the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have the spreadsheet on my desk. I have no doubt. Yeah, I sat down and did it, and he gave me the numbers from previous months, because we started it at a certain time when we went back and said that's when we were going to start doing it.
Okay.
So it took a while to get all the numbers together.
Okay, that's fantastic. And basically now, I just want to know where you see Warlord beard oil going from here. After this happened, what do you expect to happen now?
Ideally, what I want to happen, I confronted him Monday, and I told him, I was like, you've done, I was like, this is, I can't even explain what you've done to this company. And besides the fact you deceived me, I found out on social media from Steve A. and John Hurst sent me the letter as well. And initially I told him, I was like, you know, you need to step down as CEO and you need to walk away. If this company is to survive, you can't be here anymore. And he thought about it, And of course, back and forth, we had discussions that didn't happen. So I've given him many solutions, many different roads to take to do what's honest, do what's right for the company, and to do what's fair for both of us. And he hasn't taken those. And so now, like I said, as of Thursday, I don't speak to him anymore. He apparently sought legal counsel before I even did, which, it's fine. I mean, I was not expecting that. But, he did tell me, I think it was Thursday when he called me. He told me, he's like, all right, I'm doing what you're asking. I'm stepping down as CEO. So he did verbally tell me that. And I was like, that's great. I was like, but I need a letter saying you're doing that, and that I'm assuming all roles associated with Warlord Beardall. And that's when he told me he's not going to do that. I'm like, well, then I can't tell everybody you're stepping down because your word is not worth anything. And then you can come back 2 days and say, no, I decided not to do it, and then now I'll look like a bad person.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm not doing that. And so that's when I told him, I was like, well, I don't know if you saw, I sent the apology letter on behalf of me and the company. And I sent it to Steve A, and I know he put it out there, so.
Okay. You might want to go ahead and forward that letter to us as well, because Steve actually doesn't work for us. He helps us out, Special Forces wannabes. Want to email it to me just to make sure that we have a copy of it?
I will. Yeah, so I know I sent it to him, I sent it to John Hirsch, and I said, please distribute as you see fit. And then I sent one to Jen at the Green Break Foundation as well.
Yes. I saw, we got a copy of Bud's quote-unquote apology, and basically he's trying to buy silence, and that's just not going to work. Especially since all over Instagram he had been posting for quite some time that you guys donated 10% to the Green Beret Foundation, and in the last 2 years only $50 had ever been donated under Bud's name, aka Edward Hadley, and since he tried to buy our silence, he decided to donate them.
I just told my wife, I just saw that. Well, I think last night I was looking at one of the threads, like I didn't even know he gave.
I'm trying to play the clean up, cover up game right now, and it's a little too late for that. We don't like having to do this, but it needs to be done because many people have served in the military. Many have lost their lives, and many people, husbands, sons, fathers, daughters, mothers, have passed away. So we take it personally when a actual service member decides to lie about their service. That's a low blow.
It is.
So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to talk to Blake Kennedy, see what Bud had told him, because I know Kennedy is a Marine veteran. So I want to see what's been said to him. I'm going to talk to Bud's tattoo artist, AJ. And I've contacted a few people that have got your product and asked if they ever personally did business with you or Bud, or how they came about getting your guys' stuff. And some of them said that Bud had done the transaction with them directly. So I'm sitting down with pretty much everybody I can in the local area to see just what Bud has told you, because this isn't okay.
Yeah, absolutely not.
He was a medic in the United States Army, and he should be proud of that service. Take away from Green Berets is not okay.
It's not.
Lying about helping Green Beret families is not okay. Okay?
You're not going to hear an argument out of me.
And this is going to the local news, and I'm adamant about talking to you because I want to get your side of the story before I talk to the news. And if you would like to go to and talk to the news with me, that'd be more than okay. So that they can see that at least 49% of the company is a stand-up guy. I was also told to ask if there's any way you could prove your service with either a DD-214 or something like that.
Okay, I can find my DD-214, absolutely.
You could block out your social or whatever, but I just need some sort of proof because we do like to vet people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nothing personal, but you know what I do for a living, and
I get it.
It sucks that it's come to that way.
I get it. And, and it's also, besides the fact that the Special Forces thing, what I'm finding out as well is, and we've had arguments about it before, but I didn't know the reach until now. Apparently, a lot of people he's been talking to and reaching out to his, you know, he's been portraying that the company is his and his alone.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, we've been getting some mail.
I actually didn't know you existed until a couple days ago. So.
Most people don't. And when I respond to those, you know, when I respond to those mails that saying, you know, great company, great product, too bad it's built on a pile of lies, you know, I've responded to everybody. And I was like, you know, apologizing. And they're like, well, and it's been nothing but gracious. They're like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to you. I didn't even realize he had a partner. And so, and everybody I've talked to, including some of the people, the SF people he's befriended, that he actually met with and hung out and you know, have been nothing but gracious and kind to me and my family. And I mean, because they're like, you know, we're actually SFs, and he fooled us pretty big, so I can see where it got by on you.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, there's a lot of businesses that have two partners, and one does this, and then the company is kind of screwed. I also know that Bud has been saying, don't worry, dude, it's going to blow over shortly, nobody will remember. Once we run our story, the first thing that's going to pop up is Guardian of Valor, Warlord Beer Company, stolen Valor. And that could really hurt the company. That's why I'm here. We had another company called Warrior Point, and their old CEO and president was stolen Valor. What we did for them was once he signed over the company to the other guy that wasn't stolen Valor, we added a link at the bottom saying, now it is run by a real veteran who did not steal Valor. That's another reason why I want to prove your service. So at the bottom of his story, we can annotate that it's now going to be run by new Warlord.
Absolutely, and that would be, like I said, you know, the reason, besides the fact that, excuse me for my voice, obviously I've been talking all week, and I lost it the other night and just not getting it back. Besides the fact that what he did was wrong, dishonest, immoral, unethical, you know, there are, what I'm looking at now because of my hand in it, my financial hand in it, I put in $32,000 loan from a 401k. These two people right here are my main concerns.
Absolutely.
And they're all I care about right now in trying to save this company and moving forward. And I have no doubt it can be, but, you know, I know, and, you know, I would think Bud knows as well that he can't. That can only happen if he's not in that company.
Exactly.
So I'll do what I have to do and everything I can do to protect my family. So
absolutely, family is first, no matter what.
Because in the end, that's all you have. Yeah, exactly.
Just really sucks that he was a legit service member and he decided to lie.
Right.
We're in the deep south. People love the military. We would have bought from a medic just as much as we would have bought special forces. You know what I mean? It's just sad that it's come to this.
It is, and unfortunately, you know, like I've told everybody I've been talking to, Jen, Steve, you know, John, and some of the people I've just talked to that he befriended, you know, it sucks, but, you know, I just ask, you know, don't judge the company based on his actions because there's another party involved.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and I'm having to deal with all of that. You know, yeah, okay, great, but my conscience is clear because you had to come clean on this. Or whatever, however you want to look at it, but you put all that burden on us now. Yeah. And that sucks. So.
We're currently waiting on his records to come in.
That's what Steve told me, yeah.
The Army comes through pretty quick for us since all of us, except for like one, are Army vets that work for our company. It's going to be bad. Just so you know. We have over 1 million followers between all of our social media platforms. We reach over 3 million people a week, and we're international. So the more you can help us, the more we can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just if you need anything, I will give you that. I will forward you that letter of apology that I sent out to Steve and them.
Yeah, and we'll add that into.
And I'll find. Good God, I haven't had to look for my DD-214 in forever. I will try to find that. It's probably like crinkled and about to fall apart because it's so old.
If you have access to e-benefits, VA-related e-benefits online system, you can request a digital copy of your member 4 DD-214 there.
Okay, I have to check it out. I never used the VA, even though people told me to. I never did. So yeah. No, I'm just finding out now that,
It takes
when I bought our house, I could have used that VA.
Yeah. That's the
Okay.
website.
Actually, it's ebenefits.va.gov.
Oh,
Okay.
I lied.
All right, I've stopped recording, so.
But this has just about everything you need for your military service records and stuff.
Okay.
But once we can verify your service, that will also help.
That's what, yeah, I will jump on that and get that to you as soon as I can.
And if you do talk to him and he wants to talk to me, I have a few real SF guys around here that would be more than happy to come sit with me.
He's not me. I just don't even want to